All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving deep, really deep, into some Vedic astrology.
Ooh, exciting.
It is. Specifically, we're looking at the Graha Sutras.
Okay.
Now, we've all heard about, planets and astrology, but these texts, they've got this whole nother level of, like, planets 2.0 going on.
That's 2.0, huh?
Yeah. So it's not just like, oh, Mars is about action and all that basic stuff. It's like each graha, each planet, is like this whole divine entity.
I like where this is going.
Right. It's got its own personality, its own purpose, its own impact on, us down here on Earth.
So less about the planets themselves, more about their, energy and how it all plays out.
Exactly. And get this, the Graha Sutras, they actually connect each planet with a specific, get this, Vishnu avatar.
Whoa, hold on, like an actual avatar?
Yeah, straight out of the myths.
That's wild. So, it's not just the energy of, say, Mars, but also how it connects to, I don't know, like Hanuman or something.
Well, Mars specifically is linked to Visimha.
Visimha, the man lion, right.
Yeah. So see, it's not just about being, all actiony, but it's got that fierce protective energy too.
Like only unleashing that power when it's really needed to defend what's right.
Exactly. That's the Nrsimha vibe.
Yeah.
So even if your Mars is not so strong in your chart, this connection to Nrsimha is like a reminder that, hey, we can all cultivate that strength, that courage when we need to, to stand up for what's right.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. It's not just about your birth chart being set in stone. It's like a guide. Like, here's some potential. Go work with it.
I'm seeing how this goes way beyond the basics, yeah.
Big time. So, okay, what about, the sun? That's a big one. Right?
Oh, yeah. Sun's linked to Rama, the ideal king. So duty, living by those high principles, dharma, all that good stuff.
So even if someone's sun is, weak in their chart.
Right. This Rama connection reminds us we can all work towards those qualities. Conscious effort,
I like that. It's like, even the challenging placements, they gain a whole new meaning through this lens.
Totally. Now, the moon, that's where things get interesting.
Oh, yeah, the moon. Emotions, subconscious, all that.
Right. And the sutras, they link the moon to Krishna. Think about it, Krishna. He's complex, navigating all those gray areas.
Yeah, he wasn't always goody two-shoes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. So the moon, it's not about just feeling good. It's accepting the whole spectrum of emotions. The good, the bad, the messy.
Wow. So someone with a strong moon might be drawn to, really exploring those depths, huh?
Could be through art, therapy, anything that gets you in touch with those inner workings.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The Graha Sutras, they're suggesting that facing those less comfortable emotions, it's part of the growth process, just like Krishna's whole journey.
Man, this is shifting how I see the planets. It's not just about prediction. It's like understanding these archetypes, these energies playing out in our lives.
And the Graha Sutras, they don't stop there. Get ready for this. They go on to link each graha to specific elements, tastes, colors, even grains.
Oh, wait. Tastes. Like each planet has a taste.
It's true. Think about it. The sun, all fiery, intense, it's linked to the pungent taste, like chili peppers, ginger.
Well, so if I'm, craving spicy food, my sun is trying to tell me something.
Maybe. Each planet has its own taste connection. The moon, cool, nurturing, linked to the salty taste, like the ocean.
That makes sense.
Right. And Mars, all about action. It's connected to the bitter taste. Think coffee, dark chocolate, that stimulating vibe.
This is so cool. It's like the planets are talking to us through our senses.
That's a great way to put it. But, with all this complexity, it can feel a little overwhelming, right?
Definitely. Okay, great, all these layers of meaning, but how do I actually use this stuff?
And the Graha Sutras, they get that. They emphasize understanding the interpretation principles, not making those common errors, recognizing the limits of any system.
So it's not about memorizing a bunch of facts. It's about, really getting the principles.
Exactly. It's a process, a journey of understanding.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. So we've got these divine entities, the avatars, the elements, the tastes. But how does it all come together to, shape a person's life?
That's where dasa comes in. Each graha, it has its own dasa period, a time when its influence is strongest in your life, shaping events, experiences, all that.
So knowing your current dasa, it can give you insight to what's going on, what themes are popping up.
Absolutely. Say you're in a Mars dasa, you might feel super driven, ready to take action, tackle challenges head on.
So it's not just about like your birth chart. It's also about these time periods where certain energies are stronger.
Exactly. And the Graha Sutras, they offer insights into how to make the most of each dasa.
Like specific things you can do.
They introduce remedies for afflicted planets, practices, even foods that can help harmonize things.
Interesting. So it's not about like avoiding the tough stuff, but knowing how to work with it.
Exactly. Working with the cosmic energies, not against them.
I like that. Now, the Graha Sutras, they don't just talk about individuals, right? They also connect the planets to, well, this might be a bit controversial, the forecasts.
Yeah, that's a topic that needs careful handling.
Absolutely. So how do the sutras approach this? And how can we, like, understand it today?
Well, it's important to remember they're talking about caste as determined by, like, your inner nature, your mentality, not birth or job.
Okay, so less about the social hierarchy, more about different personality types, you could say.
Exactly. So Brahmins, linked to Jupiter and Venus, they're drawn to knowledge, spiritual stuff. Kshatriyas, Sun and Mars, they're natural leaders, protectors. You see the connection.
So each caste has its own dharma, its own duty, and fulfilling that leads to a good life.
Right. And the text encourages us to follow our dharma, even if it means going against what society expects.
That's powerful. So it's about being true to yourself, not just fitting into a box.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got the grahas, the avatars, elements, even the caste system. But what about our everyday motivations, our actions?
All right, like what drives us?
That's where the gunas come in. 3 modes of energy. Sattva, all about purity, rajas, that's action, and tamas, inertia. The sutras connect each planet to these gunas, adding another layer.
So even if two people have like a strong Mars, how that energy plays out could be totally different.
Totally. Mars dominated by tamas could be impulsive, aggressive, but Mars with sattva, disciplined action, selfless service.
Wow, so much nuance.
Right. It's not just the planet, it's all these layers interacting.
Okay, my brain is officially full. We've got planetary aspects, the symbolism, and there's still so much more to uncover.
We've only just begun to scratch the surface, but hey, that's what makes this deep dive so exciting, right?
Absolutely. And listeners, we're just getting started. Stay tuned because we've got a whole lot more to explore in the Graha Sutras. Okay, so before we went off on that tangent about grains.
Oh, right, the brain.
Yeah, we were talking about those planetary aspects, you know, the whole cosmic conversation between the planets.
Right, those aspects.
Can you give us an example, like how these aspects might, you know, actually play out in someone's chart?
Sure. Let's say someone has Mars and Saturn in a challenging aspect.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, well, on the surface, it could mean like conflict between their drive, that's Mars, and their need for structure, discipline, that's more Saturn.
Yeah, feeling pulled in two different directions.
Exactly. It can lead to frustration, delays, feeling stuck.
I think most people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Like wanting to charge ahead, but also having to be responsible.
Totally. But the Graha Sutras, they're saying it's not about good or bad. It's more like these aspects, they're opportunities for growth.
Okay, so like that Mars-Saturn thing, it could also mean you're super resilient.
Exactly. You learn to channel that energy, you develop this amazing work ethic, and in the long run, it leads to success.
So it's not about being like doomed by a certain aspect. It's about understanding the potential.
Exactly. And the Graha Sutras, they don't stop at just the technical stuff. They go deep into the symbolism of each graha.
Oh yeah, we touched on the tastes.
Right, the tastes. But there's more. They talk about like the environments each planet prefers.
Wait, like their favorite hangout spots?
Kinda, yeah. It's like their cosmic real estate choices.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Okay, the sun, for example. All radiant, authoritative. Right. It loves temples, places of worship, even like fiery locations.
You know, I always felt really peaceful in those kinds of places.
Right. Maybe your inner sun is soaking it all up.
I love that. So each planet has its own preferences.
Totally. The moon, emotional, tranquil. It's drawn to water, lakes, oceans, Mars, all about action. It loves places where energy is being directed. Workshops, maybe even a gym.
So if I'm like constantly drawn to the ocean, it's my moon needing a recharge.
Could be. The sutras suggest paying attention to those little nudges, those preferences. They can tell you a lot about which planetary energies are strongest for you.
Okay, this is making me rethink my vacation plans.
Yeah.
What about plants? Do the planets have a say in that realm too?
Oh, absolutely. The Graha Sutras talk about how each planet influences specific types of plants.
Like each plant has a planetary vibe.
You got it. For example, the sun, life-giving, powerful, it rules over strong, sturdy trees like oaks, redwoods.
That makes sense. The oak providing shade, shelter, all that.
And the moon, nurturing, watery, it rules over plants that produce like sap or milk, rubber trees, maples.
Interesting. So what about Mars?
Mars, the action planet, it's got those thorny, bitter plants, aloe vera, neem, often used for medicine, right? Symbolizing overcoming challenges, healing.
Okay, so each plant is like a mini expression of a planet's energy. What about the human body? Do the grahas influence that too?
Of course, the Graha Sutras talk about the dhatus, the 7 tissues that make up our bodies. Each dhatu is linked to a graha.
So the planets are basically the architects of our bodies.
In a way, yeah. The sun, life-giving, it rules over rasa, our vital fluids. The moon, nurturing, it's got rakta, our blood. Mars, action, it governs mamsa, the muscles.
Wait, so if I have blood circulation problems, it could be related to my moon.
It's possible. Vedic astrology sees everything as connected, body, mind, spirit.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to health. It's not just about symptoms, it's about these deeper energetic imbalances.
Exactly. And by knowing which planet rules which dhatu, you can understand your strengths, weaknesses, make choices to support your well-being.
So working with your cosmic constitution, not against it. What about the other dhatus?
Well, Jupiter, expansion, it rules Asti, the bones, all about strength, stability. Venus, beauty, it governs Shukra, reproductive tissues, that creative energy. And Saturn, limitations, it's got Maja, bone marrow, the nervous system.
Whoa, it's like a cosmic owner's manual for our bodies.
Yeah.
But what about when we're like growing up? Do the planets influence different life stages?
Definitely. The sutras talk about how different planets take center stage at different points in our lives.
Like a cosmic curriculum.
Exactly. The first 2 years, it's all about the moon, emotional security, nurturing. Then, ages 2 to 3, Mars steps in, developing coordination, willpower.
So it's not just random milestones. There's a planetary reason behind it.
Right. From 3 to 12, it's Mercury time, learning, communication. Then, 12 to 18, Jupiter takes over, expanding knowledge, exploring your purpose.
Like Jupiter's giving you the map and saying, go explore.
Exactly. Then, 18 to 24, it's Venus, relationships, self-expression, all that.
Venus, the cosmic muse. What comes after that?
Finally, 24 to 30, Saturn steps in. It's about becoming an adult, taking responsibility, building a solid foundation.
So each planet has its time to shine, so to speak.
It's fascinating, right? Seeing those planetary qualities reflected in the challenges and opportunities of each life stage.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
It's like we have a cosmic support team guiding us through life. But, what about those times when things just feel off? Unexpected challenges, feeling lost, all that. Do the Graha Sutras address that?
You've hit on a key point. This is where Rahu and Ketu come in. They're often called shadowy planets, and they're all about those unexpected twists and turns.
Ah, the cosmic wildcards.
Exactly. Rahu, it's ambition, sudden change. Think those moments when life throws a curveball, big upheavals, a sudden change in direction. Ketu, it's more about spirituality, detachment, those times when you feel disillusioned, needing to step back, find deeper meaning.
So Rahu pushes you forward, maybe a little roughly, and Ketu's like, time to reflect.
That's a great way to put it. They're the disruptors, challenging us, making us evolve, ultimately guiding us towards our true path.
Okay, so it's not just about the individual planets, it's how they interact, how they disrupt to create this dynamic journey.
Exactly. It's an ongoing cosmic dance.
With all this talk of challenges and disruption, does Vedic astrology offer any solutions? Like, can you mitigate the negative stuff?
Yeah.
Enhance the positive?
Absolutely. The Graha Sutras have a whole bunch of remedies, practices to help you work with those planetary influences. Think of it like a cosmic toolkit.
A cosmic toolkit, I like that. So what's in this toolkit?
Well, one of the most common is mantra chanting. These sacred sounds, they have a real energetic effect, can appease a planet's negative side or boost its positive qualities.
Like personalized soundtracks for each planet.
Kinda, yeah. Then there's yajnas, fire rituals, invoking the planets and deities for blessings. Gemstones, too, each linked to a planet can absorb, amplify, or redirect energy.
So we can actually work with the planets through these tools, these practices. What else is in the toolkit?
Diet. Incorporating more of a beneficial planet's taste or less of an afflicted one's can help balance things. And of course, lifestyle adjustments, aligning your choices with the planet's energy.
So living in sync with your cosmic blueprint.
Exactly. The key is to remember, these remedies aren't about changing fate or avoiding challenges. It's about understanding yourself, working with the cosmic energies, using that knowledge to navigate life more skillfully.
It's empowering, right?
Eh,
We're not just puppets, we have choices.
Exactly. That's the beauty of Vedic astrology. It's not just predicting events, it's understanding the meaning behind them, using that wisdom to grow.
We talked about planets, remedies, but there's one thing we haven't really touched on, numbers. What's their connection to all this?
Ah, yes. The Graha Sutras actually always spend a lot of time talking about the symbolism and significance of numbers in relation to the Grahas.
Okay, now this is where I get really interested. I've always been fascinated by numbers. How does it work?
Basically, in Vedic astrology, each number from 1 to 9 is associated with a specific graha. It's like numerology and astrology combined.
Numerology meets astrology. I love it. So, which planet goes with which number?
Well, number 1, new beginnings, individuality, leadership, that's the sun. Number 2, duality, balance, emotions, that's the moon.
Makes sense. The sun, all alone, and the moon with its phases. What about the rest?
Number 3, action, courage, ambition, that's Mars. Number 4, stability, practicality, communication, that's Mercury. And number 5, expansion, wisdom, grace, that's Jupiter.
Wow, the qualities of each planet really shine through in the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the last few?
Number 6, beauty, harmony, relationships, that's Venus. Number 7, mystery, introspection, spiritual seeking, that's K2. Number 8, power, transformation, karma, that's Saturn. And finally, number 9, completion, compassion, universal love, that's Rahu.
This is incredible. It's like this hidden language woven into the universe. But how can we actually use this knowledge?
Knowing the symbolism of numbers can give you insights into the energies at play in different situations. For example, starting a new project. Maybe do it on a day that vibes with the number 1, calling on that sun energy for new beginnings.
So choosing the right cosmic soundtrack for the occasion.
Exactly. It's about aligning yourself with the natural rhythms of the universe.
This is all so fascinating, but how do we know we're interpreting it all correctly? There's so much symbolism, so much to learn.
That's a great question. The Graha Sutras actually talk about that. They emphasize the importance of understanding the principles, avoiding those common errors that can lead to misinterpretations.
So it's not just about memorizing a bunch of symbols. It's about understanding the deeper meaning.
Exactly. It's about approaching this knowledge with humility, recognizing that we're always learning.
It's a journey, not a destination. This deep dive has been amazing. I feel like we've only just begun to scratch the surface of this ancient wisdom.
It's true. There's always more to discover. But even understanding the basics can be incredibly enriching.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dives, listeners, we leave you with this question. Could understanding your own astrological chart be the key to unlocking your potential and living a more fulfilling life? We'll be back after a short break to continue exploring the Graha Sutras and unraveling the mysteries of Vedic astrology. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. These Graha Sutras are pretty complex.
Yeah, they really are. Lots to unpack.
Right. But, like we were saying before the break, it's fascinating how it all ties together. Planets, numbers, even tastes. It's like this holistic view of the universe.
Exactly. It's not just about individual pieces of information. It's about how they all connect, to paint a bigger picture.
And, one thing that always comes up with astrology, it's like, okay, if these planets are influencing us, shaping our lives, what about free will? Do we even have a choice?
Yeah, that's a big one. And the Graha Sutras, they actually address that directly. They acknowledge, yeah, the planets have an influence. They shape our tendencies, our inclinations, but...
But there's that but, right?
Always a but. They also emphasize free will, the power of making conscious choices.
So it's not like our fate is set in stone.
Not at all. Think of it this way. The planets are like the raw materials, the blueprint, but we're the builders.
We get to decide what to do with those materials.
Exactly. We can work with those energies, refine them, even overcome limitations. Ultimately, we shape our own destiny.
That's much more empowering, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's not about blaming the planets or expecting them to hand us everything. It's about taking responsibility, using this knowledge to make better choices.
Yeah, instead of feeling like a victim of fate, we can be co-creators.
Exactly. That's what makes Vedic astrology so cool. It's not just about predicting the future. It's about understanding ourselves, the universe, and making the most of our journey.
This whole deep dive, it's been really eye-opening. I feel like I've got a whole new understanding of Vedic astrology and how it applies to, my own life. As we wrap things up, what's like the key takeaway you want listeners to remember?
Hmm. I'd say the Graha Sutras are really an invitation to see the world differently, to see how everything's connected.
Like we're all part of this cosmic dance.
Exactly. Each of us with a unique role to play. And it's about embracing the journey with all the ups and downs, seeing it as a chance to grow, to evolve.
It's not about controlling the cosmos, it's about learning to dance with it.
Beautifully put. Listen to the planets, understand their language, find your own rhythm in the grand scheme of things.
And remember, we're not dancing alone, right?
Never alone. We're all connected, our lives intertwined, our actions affecting everything around us.
So it's about recognizing that connection and understanding that our choices, they matter. They have a ripple effect.
And that's the essence of Vedic astrology. It's about understanding not just our own destinies, but the grand tapestry of life itself.
Well said. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the Graha Sutras, everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've learned something new and maybe even found a new appreciation for this ancient wisdom. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep searching for those connections that reveal the magic of the universe.